Hey everybody, my name is Romeo Santos and I am the owner and CEO of Red Anchor Properties. And you are sitting in front of your computer screen watching this video because either we've recently spoken and you've expressed an interest in purchasing a home, and we're sending this video to you so that you can see our process and how we're going to help that become a reality for you, or you've landed on this video because you were out there seeking more information about the home buying process. And so we are a local real estate team here in the Maryland, DC, and Virginia region. I personally have been a licensed real estate agent since 2001. We have a wonderful team made up of salespeople that help our clients out in the field, as well as a fantastic administrative team that we call the A team that do a rock star job of making sure that all the T's are crossed and all the I's are dotted. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to walk you through what we call our home buyer guide. All right, let's get ready. All right, so again, we are Red Anchor Properties of eXp Realty. Red Anchor Properties is the company, and eXp Realty is the brokerage house that actually manages all of the brokerage items for us. So just to start, what's the most important thing for you to know is that we really do know what it takes to get a great deal when it comes to buying a home. Again, since 2001, I've been doing this. I've seen terrible markets, great markets, crazy markets like we're in right now, and like we were back in 2006 and 7. So everything that you can imagine could be thrown at you during that period, I've seen it. I'm sure there's a ton that I could still learn. I certainly know that, yet I've seen a lot. And so I'll be able to bring that experience to work for you, and then my team as well, because I train them on these things. So let's talk a little bit about, why do you need a real estate agent? First and foremost, a real estate agent is a licensed professional. We're a great resource full of knowledge and experience that we're going to be able to deliver to you and for you for your benefit. We're also National Association of Realtors. Okay. So that means that we have a code of ethics that we have to abide by. Just to give you an idea what that means, there's roughly 2 million real estate agents in the United States, and about 1.35 million of those people are actually licensed realtors with the realtor designation through National Association of Realtors. So quite a few of folks do not have that designation and don't have to abide by those code of ethics. All right, so what are the benefits of working with a real estate agent and working with Red Anchor Properties, more importantly? Saving you time, money, and frustration, negotiating the best deal for you, getting access to the very best lenders. We don't have just one, we have plenty, and you can use any lender you want. We just always stress that it's so important to have a local trusted lender that understands the market, that can communicate on your behalf on a regular basis, either with the listing agent or with your real estate team as well. We have the best access to the vendors, you name it, from a termite inspector to a home inspector to a renovation company. Okay. We're the best community resource. Anything that you can imagine. How do I know if this is a good school? What are the crime rates like? What is the zoning? You name it, we're going to be able to find that information for you. We've got it all stored and locked down, and we're ready to just send that information to you when you need it. And a big thing that we really love to do is make sure that we give you information before maybe you even know that you need it. Okay. Our expert guidance. We've been doing this for a long time. I've been very blessed to be a part of hundreds of transactions. And so that knowledge and that experience is going to be a benefit for you. It's also a benefit for my team members should you end up working with one of my team members and not me, because they get training from me every single week. And we always get training outside from people that know much more than I do. Okay. And then the very best part really for any consumer is this last one. The seller's going to pay us. That's it. Seller pays us. All right. So what I'm going to do is we're going to quickly go through this dial, and then we're going to dig into each one of them and break them down. So first and foremost, what you should be doing is meeting with a realtor. You're kind of getting that out of the way right now. We may have already met, and you may just be looking at this video, getting some information. If we've already met, great. Step one is already out of the way. We talked about what you're looking for, your must-haves. If we haven't, we're still going to, where you're looking to live, what's important to you, why the move is happening, all those really important nuanced pieces. Next part that's very, very important, I would say maybe even more critical than step one, except you need step one to be able to do step two, is that you need to get yourself a trusted local lender and a pre-approval. Without a pre-approval letter, you are not going to be able to go out and shop with authority. you're only going to be guessing what you might be approved for. So that's very important. Not only is it important for your knowledge base, but it's also important because sellers are not going to take you seriously if you haven't done that step, okay? Step number 3 is that once we get through these couple pieces, we're going to start finding properties and sending them to you. After that, we're going to go shopping. Going shopping is the fun part where we actually get to go out, check out real estate, see all sorts of cool houses and maybe some not so cool houses. Finally, once you get to the right home and you decide that it's the one that you really want to buy, we're going to be writing an offer, negotiating the offer, and ultimately getting you under contract, and then making sure that we get the right inspections and contingencies in place to protect you. Step number 6 is that we're going to actually conduct those inspections. We're going to make sure that we get through that negotiation process. We're going to have those inspection items removed so that we can continue to move forward. Step number 7, once we've had the inspection contingency removed and or any other inspection related contingencies removed, we go into what we call kind of the limbo waiting period where the lender and the title company go to work for you, okay? The lender and the title company from the very beginning are doing all sorts of behind the scenes things. And after we get through this first 2 weeks, most likely through contract and inspections, the next 2 weeks to 4 weeks, depending on how long we have for closing, the title company and lender are going to be going to work doing all sorts of things for you, from processing the loan, getting the title work together, making sure that nobody has a claim on the deed, you name it, they'll be doing it for you, okay? Step number 8 is that we actually get a confirmation from the lender that you're confirmed to close, and the title company says, yes, we're able to write a title binder and policy. The house is good to go, and we'll review the documents, and then we will go to the settlement after we've done a final walkthrough to make sure that the home is in the same condition it was the last time we were there. And congratulations, you're a homeowner. That's it. All right, I hope you guys found that valuable. No, I'm totally kidding. We're going to dive into it now. All right, so step number 2, getting the pre-approval. Let's just talk about some of the things that the lender is going to need if you haven't already done this step yet. They're going to need pay stubs, tax returns. If you're a 1099 employee, they'll need your 1099s, bank statements, and your credit history. Yes, they will pull your credit, okay? A gift letter in the event that you're getting money from family or friends, an asset statement in the event that you're a business owner, a photo ID. They're going to need other income. So any other income that you may have, whether it be some investments that you have or alimony, child support, you name it, any other income that you have, they'll need to see those statements. And then, of course, any stocks, bonds, and other interest-bearing assets that you may have. Now let's talk about the top 10 things that you should not be doing when you're applying for a real estate loan. Don't change your job, become self-employed, or quit your job. Don't buy a car, truck, or a van, for you may be living in it. A little bit of our bad real estate humor, but the point is those things are expensive. And when you increase your debt to income ratio, which is what happens when you increase the amount of money that you spend each month on bills, then your buying power goes down. So it can negatively impact that part. Don't use your credit cards in excess or let them fall behind. Don't buy any new furniture. Typically, those are high dollar items and people put those on charge cards. Don't originate any new loans or any inquiries. The loan itself, yes, you need to originate that inquiry, but don't anything new beyond that, okay? Don't make any large deposits or withdrawals into your banking accounts without talking to the lender first. They're going to guide you the best way to do that. The lenders and their underwriters, they need to see where the money is coming from and going. If they can't see it, they get really worried. You got to think about lenders and banks as being very risk adverse. And if they see anything that seems risky, it's going to freak them out, okay? Don't omit any debts, any liabilities, any negative derogatory remarks. All that stuff will get uncovered. So let's get it out in front so that we can figure out the best way to get around it. Don't change your bank accounts, and don't co-sign a loan. And don't, of course, spend the money that you had set aside for your down payment. Now, all these things probably sound like, well, duh, Romeo, why would we do any of those things? But believe me, they've made it on this list for a reason, all right? Step number 3, we're going to start sending you homes. We have a really awesome, robust system where we're going to input all of the data that you tell us it's important to you, and houses are going to start coming to you automatically through your email. You can view them on your phone. You can go into our portal. You can tell us what you like, what you don't like. You can trash houses. You can save houses. You can communicate with us through the back end and tell us, I really like that house. Can we schedule an appointment? You name it, our system will allow you to do it. The idea here is that we make it really, really easy And to be totally transparent with you, we want to keep you off of Zillow and those other sites as much as we possibly can, because those sites are geared towards selling leads to agents. They're not really geared to give you a user experience when buying a house. They're geared to connect you with agents that are paying for leads, okay? So we want to get you off of those so that you don't get bombarded with a bunch of unnecessary calls, and that you get real up-to-date, accurate information that is directly tied to our multiple listing service. So in these listing alerts, we're going to be sending you everything that's happening in the community where you're looking, okay? If you have a house to sell while you're buying this one, these listing alerts will also be telling you everything that's happening in your market, okay? And when you're out shopping, what's really cool is that instead of calling the number that's on the sign for the real estate agent and having to deal with them calling you over and over and over again, you'll just be able to use this text the code RAP, which stands for Red Anchor Properties, to 59599. And you're going to get this, what you see on the screen here in front of you right on your cell phone. And we're going to be able to give you details, and you can even contact us directly through there. We're also going to be networking, okay? So if you have a very special or unique interest, we're always going to be talking to the vast network of agents that we work with on a regular basis. We are top producers. We help a lot of families every year buy and sell a lot of homes. And therefore, that puts us into a very different group where we work with a lot of other agents that do the same thing. So we work with agents that are actually doing business, that have things coming on the line that nobody knows about. So let's say you have a very obscure taste that you want. We can call everybody in our network and say, everybody, we have a home buyer that's looking for this. If you have anything that's coming on the market soon, please let us know. Okay. Huge benefit to you. Step number 4 is going shopping. We're going to talk about this in detail. The shopping process is going to be very specific each time. It's very important to us that we do it this way because we know that it works. Through trial and error over 20 years, I've honed down the very best way to be the most effective house shopping experience. We would rather show you finely selected houses at the tune of 5 to 10 instead of not paying attention and wasting your time and showing you 100 houses. We want to help you find the right house in the least amount of time with the most ease for your life, okay? We understand that taking 3 hours away from your life on the weekend to go and look at houses, while it might be fun the first time and the second time, by the time you get to time number 4, 5, and 6, you're not so happy any longer, okay? So first and foremost, please make sure that you're always on time. Not because we're concerned about you being on time, but more so because homeowners often displace their day to allow for showings. And if we're not on time, well, we're giving them a bad example of who we may be before we even write an offer, okay? Wear comfortable shoes that you can easily slip on and slip off. A lot of homeowners don't want you to wear shoes through their home, and so we have to take them off. If you have tough shoes that you have to work on taking off and it's a lot of effort, it's going to be kind of a hassle for you, okay? We're never going to look at more than 6 homes at a time. The reason being is that over the 20 years that I've been doing this, I've discovered that once we get past 6, it all becomes a blur and you're unable to remember what it is that you were looking at. We're then going to ask you every time we leave a house to scale the house from 1 to 10. Anything that's below a 6 or below, we're going to actually take the paper from you. We're going to crumple it up in front of you so that it anchors in your mind that that's a 6 and you're not settling for a 6. We're also, if it makes it into the 7 to 10 range, going to ask you, is this the home that you're going to buy? Now, we're not asking you that because we want to hurry up and sell you a house. We're asking you that because we want to make sure that we're putting your mind in the space where you are asking yourself, would I buy this house? If the answer is no, then we're going to take that paper, tear it up, and throw it away. If the answer is yes, it gets to stay in the pile, okay? Or maybe it is really the one. We're going to also need at least 24 hours to schedule showings. Now, sometimes we can work some magic and make it happen sooner, but it's best to be at least 24 hours ahead of time so that we can schedule these showings. We can call the agent. We can make sure that the house is actually available, okay? What happens when we schedule something last minute, we shoot over there, you fall in love with it, we call the agent and say, hey, we're going to be sending you an offer, and they go, oh, we just accepted one. It's under contract. We don't want that to happen to you, okay? And then finally, this is a very, very important part. You have to be pre-approved. We will not go out and look at houses until you're pre-approved. And that is because we want to protect you, okay? If you're not pre-approved, you fall in love with a house, it takes you 5 days to get pre-approved. The house is probably gone because if you loved it, so does somebody else, okay? We want to make sure that you're ready to strike when you find something you love. And also number two, remember that ethics thing we talked about before? If an agent, which most of us do, like we do for our sellers, asks us, hey, are they pre-approved? And we say no, which we would have to, because we have to be honest. They're going to tell us, you know what, we don't want you to show the house until they're pre-approved. We're not going to ask our sellers to leave the house to show it to somebody that hasn't even gotten pre-approved yet. So it's super, super important, okay? Okay, number 5, making an offer. So we're contract experts, okay? Because we understand the contract and because it's so important to understand the contract, we make sure that we train on the contracts. So what we're going to do first is we're going to review and accept the seller disclosures. The seller disclosures are filled out by the seller when they list the house. It tells us everything about the house. Let me be very clear. Not every seller is fully forthcoming, and that's why we're going to have home inspections and such that we're going to talk about a little later, okay? You're going to submit what's called an EMD. We're going to need a picture of it, and then you're going to have to send the check after we go under contract to the title company, okay? The EMD is called an earnest money deposit. It's typically 1% of the sales price, but if you want to be very competitive, you can make it 2 or even 3% of the sales price. That money goes into a non-interest bearing escrow account with the title company. Once you are closing on the house and we have all the full numbers from the lender and the title company has reconciled with the lender, what's going to happen is they're going to tell you what your cash to close is. Your cash to close is going to be the amount that the lender says that you owe to buy this house minus the earnest money deposit that you've already given to them, okay? So the money just doesn't go off into the ether. It sits there and waits for you. But it's basically the seller's way of knowing that you're really serious because you're willing to put up money that actually comes out of your account. We're going to have a pre-approval letter that we attach with the offer as well. So we need a copy of the check and a pre-approval letter that gets attached with the offer when we send it out. Of course, you're going to need to review and sign the contract, and then we're going to deliver the contract on your behalf and follow up with the agent to say, when do you expect to give us a response? And then we're going to follow up when they tell us that they're going to expect to give us a response so that we can get that response and press them for it if they haven't already done it. We want to make sure that you're not sitting around in that limbo period, feeling anxious, not wondering what's going on for too long. We're going to do everything we can to make you feel comfortable through this process. Let's talk about the things that we will actually negotiate for you as we're writing this contract and going through the negotiation stage. We're going to negotiate price. We're going to pull comps. We're going to tell you what's a fair price. We're going to gauge how much information we can get from the listing agent, whether or not it's a competitive situation, whether or not there are any motivators that the seller may have that we can use to our advantage to get you the very best deal. We're going to negotiate the terms being how much your earnest money deposit might be, how many days until closing, the inclusions, the exclusions, whether or not the refrigerator is included or not, whether or not the outdoor play set is included, all those different types of things that we want to make sure are crystal clear in the contract. Contingencies. When we talk about contingencies, we talk about home inspection contingencies, radon contingencies, lead inspection contingencies, appraisal contingencies, financing contingencies. We want to make sure we're protecting you at every step of the way. And then ultimately is possession, how you'll actually take possession of the house. The most frequent and common way is that you'll take possession of the house after you sign all the paperwork and you've delivered your money to the title company. Okay. All right. Number 6, inspections and negotiation. Talk about the home inspection here. Okay. Home inspection is really, really important. It's really important because it's going to protect you. But there's a couple things to know about the home inspection. The home inspection is called a structural and mechanical home inspection. You can also get an inspection to check for radon gas. You can check the chimney. You can check the roof. You can check for mold. There's a million different inspections that you can check for, but the most common one that everybody gets is the structural and mechanical inspection. The purpose of this is to make sure that the plumbing is in good order, that your heating and air conditioning is in good order, that the electrical is in good order, and that it's safe, that the structure of the home is safe, that if there's any deck or outbuildings that they're safe. That's what the purpose of the home inspection is for, okay? Windows, roof, you name it. Those things that are really structural integrity portions of the home and systems. It's not for there's mold on the siding and we want that to be removed. It's not for the sun hits the house in a weird way and it melted the siding just a little bit and now it's got a deformity. It's not for the deck could really use a power washing. As much as we'd love it to be for all those things, you are buying a used home And so you'll have to be ready for the fact that this used home is going to have some maintenance items that you may have to take care of. Now, it doesn't mean that we can't negotiate and try to get some of those things. We just want to be crystal clear up front that the main purpose of this is to make sure that you're buying a safe and structurally sound house with good functioning mechanicals, okay? Number 7, the removal of the home inspection and the appraisal, okay? What's going to happen now is going to feel like an eternity. We've done everything we needed to do, and it feels like a whirlwind, and it's fun, and it's exciting, and you're a little bit stressful, and we're going through it. And everything that we've talked about so far all happens primarily in the first 2 weeks, sometimes even quicker, 10 days, 7 days, okay? After that, what happens is that we go in to a pause mode, a waiting period, a limbo period, and the lender and the title company go to work. The lender is going to order your appraisal. They're going to start processing all the paperwork through the underwriting system. The title company is going to start running title search to make sure that the people who own it are the only people that have a right to the home and they can actually sell it. They're going to be putting together your title insurance policy. They're going to be running all the numbers, communicating with the lender, communicating with the payoff for the seller. All these things are going to be happening in the background, and we're going to be keeping up to date with them, making sure that nobody is missing their marks. We have this incredible system called Brivity where you can actually, you'll get a login. You'll be able to create an account, log in, and every day you'll be able to go in and see exactly what we're doing behind the scenes for your transaction. Notes that we're keeping with one another, emails that we're sending out to the title company, follow-up communication that we're keeping note of with the lender. You name it, everything's going to be in there. And what's even nicer is if you don't feel like logging in, you're going to get an email every day that's going to give you an update about that as well. Full transparency is what we want. We want you to be in the know all the time. I also have an amazing team. They're our administrative team, and we lovingly call them the A team, okay? They are amazing at what they do. We have Judy, and Judy is our administrator who handles all of the transactional paperwork. She makes sure that all the T's are crossed and all the I's are dotted and that we are good to go for compliance. Then we have Susan. Susan is an amazing person who is really going to be your concierge, and she's going to continue through this process, giving you updates, walking you through, making sure that if you have anything that you need, that you get it. She's going to be updating you on moving companies, when you should be transferring over utilities, anything that you can imagine, she's going to be taking care of you through that. We, of course, are still your main point of contact, but Susan is such an expert at this that that's what she does every day, all day for our clients, making sure that they feel amazing and well taken care of through this process. And then we have Michelle. And Michelle is really the one who makes sure that nothing gets missed. When we have an issue with title company, when we have an issue with home inspector, when we have an issue with appraisal, with lender, you name it, pardon me, she jumps on the phone and she gets it done. So between our 3 amazing administrative people on the team, nothing will get missed and you will feel like this was the easiest process, period. So step number 8, we're going to get what's called a clear to close. That's when the lender says, we're good. We've verified all the information. We've asked them for their bank statements 5 times now, which is going to be very frustrating. We've asked them for updated pay stubs. We've asked them to see where the money's coming from and where it's going. They've asked you for everything at this point, and you're probably a little bit frustrated, and it's normal. Clear to close means that they've gotten everything they need, and they say, yep, we're good. We're going to close now, okay? What's going to happen is that they're going to share all that information with the title company, and the title company is going to put together this statement. It's called an ALTA statement. ALTA is short for the American Land Trust Organization. You may have heard it referred to in the past as a HUD-1. It's basically the same thing. It is an aggregate of all of the information that you need to know about the charges and settlement fees for your transaction. It's going to have the lender fees. It's going to have the title fees. It's going to have taxes, prepaids, escrows, everything that you need to know that is going to be paid for by you at the settlement table is all going to be itemized. Also, all the stuff for the seller as well will be on there. The commissions that they're paying, the administrative fees that you both are paying, you name it, it's all going to be on there. And so this next slide is small, but it kind of gives you an idea of all the information that goes on here. Okay. So it is typically a 3-page document. Sometimes it's only 2 if there's not a lot of things in here. But some of the things that we see here are financial, where we cover the sales price, personal property, deposit amount, where they account for that and give it back to you, loan amount, existing loans, so on and so forth. Prorations and adjustments. For instance, the seller paid the taxes already and they paid taxes through the end of the year, but you're buying the house 4 months with the year left. You have to pay them back for 4 months prorated of those taxes. HOA fees, if they've paid, you'll have to prorate them back. Water bills, so on and so forth. Anything that's already been paid for in advance, you'll have to pay that back. Then it would be all your loan charges, other loan charges, any impounds, which are taken from the title company and given to the lender, and they're called escrows. And that's where they take 3 months to 4 months of your property taxes, of your homeowner's insurance, and also of any other fees that they may have in there that they need to hold so that they can pay them on your behalf. You have all the title charges, the commissions, the government fees. We're also going to have payoffs in there that need to happen, and then miscellaneous fees, any back fees and that sort of thing. So that's your Alta statement in a nutshell. Ton of information here, I know. You're probably going to have a lot more questions. You're going to be able to reach us anytime that you want, okay? Now, typically what happens after we get through this process is that you agree that you want to work with us and we agree that we want to work with you. Now, there are some formalities that have to happen when this happens, okay? We need to review the brokerage documents, okay? Now, the brokerage documents basically is an agreement between you and between us saying that we agree that we're going to work together. It is a contract, okay? It is a contract that is in place to protect you, allowing us to work for you. Because in the state of Maryland, DC, and Virginia, if we don't have a signed buyer-broker agreement, we technically work for the seller. Meaning if you say, hey, Romeo, I really love this house. Can you tell me more about it? I can say, yes, I can tell you that it's listed for $500,000, that it's 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, and then it's on 1/4 of an acre. But that's it. And guess what? You can find that information on your own. So you really want an advocate working for you, okay? You're going to complete the agreement with us so that we can actually go to work for you and be your advocate. We're going to commit to you and you're going to commit to us. Then you're going to get your pre-approval completed, and then we're going to go house hunting, okay? Now, if you're thinking anything like, oh, I'm a little bit worried and I don't want to sign an agreement, let me promise you this. The agreement has language in it that states that 48-hour notice, either party with written notice can cancel the agreement with no obligation. It also will read in there that we're being paid by the seller, with the exception of one administrative fee that goes to our broker for $495, okay? Other than that, it is really a formality that allows us to work for you and a gesture that we have committed to one another to work together. Well, that's it. That's our home buyer guide. I hope that that was helpful and useful information. We are so looking forward to working with you, helping you find a perfect house. Can't wait to make it happen for you. Thanks so much, and we'll talk to you soon.